Take this corner for the Wanderers. It's gone to the back post. The Ninja A-League continues to throw up surprises. Bottom of the table, Western Sydney Wanderers have defeated top of the table, Melbourne City.
Hayashi loves a long shot. Hayashi! Momo spectacular! Slowly on, or is it Makala Woods? Here's a big chance, Woods! And there's the opener. And for the first time in the club's history, the Wellington Phoenix go top of the Ninja A-League.
End to end, and that finds the net. All Newcastle could do was stand and watch. Cutting it back across, and Gordon, a free shot on goal. Celebration to match, I like it.
Stevenson! The rocket their goal. Is Stevenson going to go again? And up and under and in. Rebecca Stott gets a goal back. McNamara around the keeper and in. From panic stations to top of the league, from fourth to first over the course of a wild afternoon.
It's McNamara! It's off the post and in for an own goal. Adelaide United get the job done on the road.
Well, plenty of goals, great celebrations and another wild week of results in the Ninja A-League. Hello and welcome to Dub Zone. I'm Amy Duggan. Joining me, A-League's commentator Teo Pellizzeri. Welcome.
Great to see you, Amy.
And fresh off the bye week from the Central Coast Mariners, Annabel Martin. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me, Amy.
Great to have you both here. Let's start with you, Annabel, and your moment of the round.
I've got to go with Victory playing in good old Shepparton as their home game this season. As a Vic country girl myself, I know how much I would have killed to have this as a kid coming up through the ranks. So I thought it was really great to see getting around the community, and yeah, the fans showed out, which was great.
It needs to be so much more than one club once a season, doesn't it? I mean, local councils make these games happen. I mean, for starters, the city of Greater Shepparton built that facility and now they're hosting events like that. The lighting, the pitch, everything was top class. So it wouldn't it be great if more rural councils around Australia started bidding for A-League women's games?
Yeah, let's get a game into Mildura next year. I'll be right there.
Mildura on the cards, there we go. More games in regional areas. I'm going to go next, Teo, if you don't mind. 18 Keane is, well, she features in my moment of the match, not just because she eventually put this goal away and it was well deserved, but for the giggles she gave me after the match where she was looking for someone, anyone, oh, there you are, behind the fence, to celebrate with, running around a little bit crazy. So, yes, I'm not sure if she was specifically looking for them or anyone, but it definitely gave me a giggle during the week.
Well, I'm going to go with the goal celebration theme as well, Amy, because there's nothing like a coordinated goal celebration. And in the case of Canberra United and Bethany Gordon, it was one in, all in. I just wish that everyone had forgotten and then we just had one random person doing a forward roll. But you see Michelle Heyman there, Hayley Taylor-Young, Emma Hawkins, and look at that, they're onto it. They're rolling even before Bethany Gordon is. And I can tell you that down the ground, off camera, even defenders in the back line started forward rolling. There have been some still photos of other players getting in on it. So Canberra, the hive mind is activated and they're all on the same page.
Had to remind Bethany, we've got a celebration, it's sorted, let's get on it. Well, we are going to go straight to Leichhardt Oval, where Canberra did get that 2-1 win over Sydney FC. Bottom of the table, Sydney, but a fairy tale, almost a comfortable win for Canberra. The result for the girls in green, Annabel.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good display from them, a full performance defensively and attacking. So, yeah, I think they'd be pretty happy with that to get the win over Sydney FC.
The one thing missing for Canberra is that they didn't have a great deal of control of the central corridor of the pitch. They did have to play quite wide, and Sydney, I think, crowded the game effectively enough. Mary Stanich-Floody scores the winner here. But one interesting thing is a lot of the distribution in this game was Bethany Gordon distributing it to wide areas, and there was very little interplay between Gordon, Olasino and Sasaki. So the more central players in the Canberra lineup did not share the the ball amongst each other. And Sydney forced them one, and they really made them earn it. But then you look at the raw numbers, the total shots on target, it says that Canberra were pretty dominant statistically in the game.
Yeah, I think that naturally just happens when you do play a three-back with the wing-backs pushing on. I thought they were great working up and down the width of the field. So, yeah, you get in the midfield and then you look to distribute it wide and exploit the space left by Sydney FC.
One thing we keep saying about Canberra is Michelle Heyman didn't have to score for them to win, but we're saying it a lot now, Annabel. What do you make of how Canberra are finding their ways to goal? Because Heyman is not running away as the top scorer in this team, and they have a very even spread of goal scorers through the course of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Michelle wants to be scoring more and wants to find the back of the net, but at the same time they're winning games, and that's the priority, I guess. I think for a good thing for Canberra is that they're finding other ways to score. Maybe the reliance has been on Heyman in the past, and now it's being spread around the team, and I think you become a little bit more unpredictable. And like I said, they're really using that width well and getting crosses in the box, and scored a fair few goals like that this year.
And it was a great goal from Bethany Gordon. Let's hear from her now post-match.
I don't think much has changed. I mean, we've just kind of built on what we already had last year. The foundations were there. We just wanted to come into this season with only wins as our mentality, and the more you win football matches, you're going to be closer to winning trophies. So we kind of have everyone on the same page, and we're pushing each week for that. But yeah, nothing's really changed. We're just building each week.
Bethany Gordon from Canberra United, a front roll enthusiast, and Canberra up to third on the ladder now. Back-to-back weeks, getting the job done against 10 players, Teo.
Yes, and Michelle Heyman able to draw a red card from an opponent for the second game in a row. Of course, Claudia Bunges got overturned on appeal. However, Annabel, do you think Sydney FC have done the right thing not appealing Kirsty Fenton's straight red card here? You see the clock, they had to play the last half an hour with 10 players, and obviously Canberra would score the match-winning goal when Sydney were one short.
Yeah, I think you see there's not many arguments going up from Kirsty here. I think she knows what she's doing. The pull on the shirt is very obvious, and she's done a good job, honestly, to probably avoid getting a penalty against her. So she's done it just in time, and I think, yeah, that she walks off the field, no one's really arguing.
Your goalkeeper is Heather Hinds, though. Like, don't you just trust your goalkeeper one-on-one in that situation?
You don't trust anyone as a defender. But it's that fine line, Teo, when the defenders, you've been beaten and you're chasing and you're seeing the edge of the box, and you know if you can pull a foul before the edge of the box, it's potentially not going to be a penalty. I just think there was such a fine line between, was the defender going to get across? Yes, you've got Heather Hinds in goals, that maybe it was a second too early.
Yeah, I think instinct kind of just took over there, and she maybe wasn't really thinking and just gone for it off just what she could see. I'm sure she does trust her keeper and her fellow defenders, but in that kind of moment, I think you got to make a split-second decision, and unfortunately for her, it's a red card.
Let's talk about Sydney FC. 2 losses in a week for Sydney FC. The 3-1 loss to Brisbane a few days before that loss to Canberra. 10 matches their winless run is now, Annabel. Like, as a veteran of this league, seeing Sydney FC in that position, like, what are your thoughts? Yeah,
it's honestly a bit weird. I think for as long as my career, since my debut, they've always been, the team to beat, I guess. Always in finals and always up there. So yeah, you probably think maybe last year was a little bit of a blip in the club history, but I think as we've seen this year, it's maybe continued over. Obviously the season's not done, and they can still make a run at it given how close the table is. But yeah, I do wonder if other teams maybe have just caught up. Like I said, they were the pinnacle for a while there, and now everyone's kind of caught up to that, which I think is a good thing.
We touched on it last week as we see how Brisbane were able to win midweek, but I think the way Sydney build their squad is now no longer suitable for the modern A-League, simply being captain pick first of cherry-picking other established players who maybe have done 2 or 3 seasons at another team and then deciding, all right, well, now you're ready to win a title, come to Sydney FC. That method doesn't work anymore. The Momo Hayashi goal to finish that Brisbane win, what a performance. I mean, we had to wait 10 games for Momo to score her first goal of the season, and she comes up with 2 very important goals.
Yeah, she's a really important player for them. Obviously, they're standing captain with Yallop out, but I think she just plays with such passion, and and her winning mentality, always putting the team first. So she's such a technician in the midfield, and as we've seen on that second goal of hers was terrific. But then when they needed her, she's gone back and played centre back. So wherever she's needed, she seems to play well.
You've played against the Roar twice already this season. Is Momo a big on-field talker? Like, it was so bizarre to see her get sent off at the end of last season. She obviously had to miss the first 3 games of this season due to that red card in the last round last year. Like, what sort of pitch presence does Momo have as an opponent when you're playing against her?
Yeah, like I said, she's quite passionate. So, yeah, she's a bit of a talker out there and wants to get her team going. At the same time, is going to stick up for her teammates or what she sees as right and wrong. So if you're going to be captain, I feel like you do need to be vocal out there. So, yeah, I think she's, like I said, really, really important player for them.
She's been a pretty amazing revelation after, not in the league before last season. Alex Smith brought her in and now she's captaining the side. So, and we'll take more goals like that, please, Momo, any day of the week. Let's head across the ditch now because it did see Wellington Phoenix top the league, even if only for a few days. Makala Woods, enough to see off Perth. She has 3 goals, 5 assists in just 5 matches. Teo, she's been a pretty handy pickup for Bev Priestman's side.
Her numbers are just exploding. It's a great piece of recruiting by Bev Priestman, and Makala Woods has shown her just ability to adapt. I mean, she's gone from the US college system to Iceland to Australia. So she's a born continent hopper, I would say, and she just gets it done everywhere she goes. This goal came at the worst possible time for the neutral because the Phoenix, I think, 1-0 at half-time, were able to sit back on it in Perth. They just kind of, tried to knock down a brick wall in the second half and didn't have a great deal of success.
It was definitely an intriguing game, and you're right. Took a bit of the sting out of the game, and unlucky for Perth as well. Let's hear from the coach, Bev Priestman, following the match.
Yes, it's there, it's real, but we also won't get carried away. What I don't want is for this now to turn into a little bit of, there is a mindset when you're top of the table to be hunted versus being the hunter and the one who's actually chasing. We've got to forget about the table and actually just do us and get as many points as we can over the next... there was 24 available today, now there's 21 available in our remaining matches, and that's what we're chasing.
They hear Bev Priestman chasing those 21 points available to close out the season for the Knicks. Same for you. The Mariners are 6 of those possible points that the Knicks could try and steal from you, Annabel. You are facing them this weekend. How are you preparing for that matchup?
Yeah, it's going to be a big test. I think obviously they're in some great form, and as we've seen, they're finding the back of the net. They've been quite clinical up there, I think averaging over 2 goals a game. So it's something that, us defenders are going to need to take on board and really bring it to them. I think they're such a hard-working, physical team that it's going to be a really good battle, and I mean, we're really excited for it, heading over to Whitney, Wellington, which is always good for an away trip over there.
One thing that Wellington get to benefit from, having not played the Mariners yet, is not just the injuries you've suffered, but also Annalise Rasmussen having left the club. How did you find out? Was it a message from Raz to a group chat? Did you find out when the news was breaking online, or was it an email or briefing from the coach? How did you find out that Annalise was leaving?
It was following the Brisbane game. We got called into the change room afterwards, and Razzie got up there with tears in her eyes and could barely get the words out. But yeah, honestly, really sad to see her go. Obviously, such an important player for us, and as a teammate and friend, it's hard to lose someone like that at such a clinical time. But at the same time, it's a great opportunity for her, something that she could not turn down, and I'm very proud of her. Seeing her from day one, our first ever signing, come through the Mariners Academy to now, Juventus. Pretty cool story.
Did anyone suspect anything? Like, had she kept a really tight circle of contacts? So, like, what was the group's reaction when that's what she got up in front of the team to say?
Yeah, no, very shocked. I think from her point of view, it all happened really, really quick. And she, herself was pretty sad to go. Obviously loves the club and loves the team and was really excited to what we were building towards. But an opportunity comes like that and you've got to take it.
I just wondered, could the team have used, given you drew the game and Rasmussen scored 2 goals, could you have used it to send her off one last hurrah? Should she have told you pre-game rather than post-game?
No, I don't think it would have changed too much there. Like you said, scored 2 goals. Not a bad way to finish at the Mariners there, and hopefully, at some stage she comes back.
It's pretty amazing stuff, but they are big shoes to fill. So who is going to do that?
I mean, we've got so many players up there that can come in. Obviously, you're not really going to be able to fill Razzie's shoes exactly, but I think all of our forwards up there bring something different. Seen DeSantos, got Millie Farrow in the works, Fuller, Tamar Levin's been playing high up the field. Eliza Hamilton's come on and done really well. So I think we've got a lot of options up there. And like, as sad as it is to see Razzie go, the best thing it does, it brings opportunity for someone else. And unfortunately, football moves pretty quick, and we've got to adapt now to where going forward.
I mean, in the works is not how I would describe one goal in your last 27 appearances for Faro. So, Amy, who are you choosing? Because I'm leaning towards Janaea Dos Santos or the nuclear option, Liz Gray up top.
Wow.
And just trust Baxter, Thew and Taryn King at the centre of defence, and have your wingers, Fuller and Trimmis, play off Liz Gray as the target forward.
Yeah, it's a tough one, Teo, because there are, as you said, there are so many options. I'm probably not going to go with your nuclear option, but I would like to see it in action. I'm going to back the youngsters here because you're having such a great season. You've got good leadership out on the park. And I think, you know, bringing in Tiana Fuller, and if you want to play Janaea up there as well and just see how she goes, she didn't have the strongest start to the season, and I think that really cost her, not being able to put goals away. But your side is creating amazing chances, and sometimes composure in front of goals is all that you need. Sometimes it's that youthful enthusiasm that I go on about occasionally. So bringing in, you know, a young player like Tiana Fuller would also work.
Yeah, I'll give you Corey's number after. I can't wait to hear his reaction for your idea.
Teo providing coaching
Well,
advice.
I'm sorry, but everyone would have laughed at the idea of Alana Janchevsky left back last season, and she was one of the best left backs in the league by the grand final day. So sometimes it's not an unfamiliar position for Liz Gray, and she's coming off scoring the match-winning goal after being thrown forward in an NPL grand final. Why not turn back the clock?
Well, you've given us plenty of food for thought, that is for sure, Teo. We'll wait and see what happens on the weekend against the Knicks. We'll fast forward to March 1 at Perth Stadium, where we'll see the Matildas taking on the Philippines in the first match of the AFC Asian Women's Cup. For the Philippines, they're drawing talent from the Ninja A-League, including former Western United coach Mark Tacasso and Angie Beard, who made her return for the Brisbane Roar on Sunday.
So, welcome back to the Ninja A-League, Angie Beard, the 25-cap Philippines international in preparation to take on the Matildas in that opening game of the AFC Women's Asian Cup.
It's a bit of a whirlwind week that I've had. I was in national team camp, 3 days ago, and then had the call, had to just pack up my stuff and come back to Brisbane and then repack it again to come down to Melbourne. So it's definitely been a journey. There's a lot of Matildas still here in this league playing. We saw a couple today. Got a bit of a tussle with Holly McNamara there. But look, A-League is a fantastic opportunity for me, especially get minutes, get exposure, get in this Australian here, and then to come back next month with the Philippines and play such a hard group. Honestly, Australia, South Korea, Iran. These are fantastic teams to be playing against.
I value the A-League more than anything. I think it's one of the best leagues in the world for women's football, and hence why, you know, we've got Emma Tovar that's coming to play in Perth.
This is important, a chance right here. Emma Tovar.
Another girl, Janae, that plays at Western Sydney, and we've got another girl, Maddie Asen, that's playing in Sydney.
Maddie Asen, a great aerial threat.
If I do get the chance to play for the Philippines, I am so excited to wear the badge, and it would be incredibly exciting to play Australia, and playing against Heyman today, it's getting me more and more excited.
We've built a little bit of momentum as a country in the last couple of months, and we're hoping again that we're going to have a really big crowd here and a big support for our community. So I think we showed that in the last World Cup with beating New Zealand in particular, and now, you know, that last tournament that we played, we overcome Thailand. It was a host. We overcome Vietnam, who had won the last 4 gold medals at that tournament. It's just the passion that they show. The girls have got passion. They got fight for each other.
He does a great job, like in film, bringing confidence to each player, and just honing in on our tactics. Again, I don't want to get in trouble. I'm trying to be as media trained as I can. I don't want to spill too much, especially since we play Australia. You guys probably want all the secrets from me in the first match. I don't play football to not believe in myself, to not believe in the girls, and to believe in a nation. So, you know, I'm not expecting that it's going to be an easy ride. I'm not expecting that it's going to be a walkthrough for any team in this tournament, especially not us. So to come through, put in some good performances, get a good feel for the tournament, feel for the level of football that these girls are playing right now. Yeah, look, I'm not going to say we're going to absolutely smash every team we come against, but to get a result, to get good playing football, I think it's something that is manageable.
Brisbane Roar's Angie Beard there, and of course she'll be lining up for the Philippines in the Asian Cup. The Philippines are looking to shock the world, but Teo, they've got a pretty tough group stage to get out of.
And it's a pretty unforgiving tournament format outside, I think, the 5 tournament favourites. So 2 out of the 3 groups will have the best third-place team go through, and the Philippines getting Australia, who of course beat them 8-0 in Olympic qualifying, that goal difference could prove all important as to who gets through, especially when you consider that a team like Uzbekistan in a different group play Bangladesh, and everyone's going to be trying to run up the score on the minnows in this tournament. And the Philippines, however, play Iran. And from what we've seen of the Matildas playing Iran, they lock down and they defend. So it's a pretty tough group for the Philippines. I think their best way out of the group and to the Women's World Cup is by getting something off South Korea. I don't think it's by being a best third-place team.
Annabel, Mark Tacasso leading the Philippines side. You've not been coached by him, but what do you know about his coaching experience?
Yeah, he was coach at Canberra United during MPL and was our biggest rivals. I think I lost in a semi-final in penalty shootout and a grand final in extra time against him. So he knows how to get the best out of his players, and in a tournament like that where it's finals football, I think, he's going to be the right man for the job.
It is a very big tournament, just 2 weeks away. We're super, super excited for it. And next week, we are going to hear from Matilda's superstar, Sam Kerr, ahead of her return to Perth.
And Sam Kerr jumping for joy as Perth Glory look on course now.
Yeah, I think to play in Perth anytime is amazing, but to do it at a major tournament, especially the Asian Cup, for us is going to be amazing. And obviously being in front of family and friends, returning from an injury is really special, so I'm really looking forward to it, and yeah, it'll be an extra special game for me.
An extra special game for Sam Kerr. Just a snippet of the interview that you will get more of when you watch next week's edition of Dub Zone. Let's get back to the Ninja A-League though. We've got a big one on Sunday with the Melbourne Derby, so here's a quick recap of how their first meeting this season went.
All roads lead to Amy Park just 2 days before Christmas. It's a Ninja A-League Melbourne Derby, number 23, between Melbourne City and Melbourne Victory. But this is promising. Pellizzeri able to turn. Pellizzeri! It had to be! Riara Pellizzeri comes back to haunt Melbourne City. Keane breeze past Janchevsky. Can she keep it in? Well, is that in for an own goal? Stayed in. Victory can't believe it. And Rachel Lowe and Leah Davison, I said they'd be sick of the sight of each other, and they are. The resulting free kick could be all important. McKenna. It's a low scuff free kick. It might work out delightfully. Holly McNamara. Magic from the back. And Melbourne City have turned around a derby deficit.
And Holly Mack sealing the deal there back in round 10. This Sunday, we'll see how the second battle plays out. Victory got their first win of the year against Newcastle on the weekend. Have they hit form at the right time, Annabel?
Yeah. I mean, they're finding their feet still, I think, weirdly to say at this stage of the season. Obviously, Jeff's made a few changes there, trying to revitalise a few players and the team itself. It was a good performance, I thought, against Newcastle. I thought Newcastle started really, really well. Again, in Shepparton, we didn't know what the wind was like, but it looked like it was definitely going one way. But, yeah, it was definitely a good performance from Victory.
I think Newcastle were desperately unlucky to lose this game. They gave a pretty good account of themselves, and then Melbourne Victory, with the wind at their backs, were able to score twice. First goal of the season for Holly Furphy. How significant is it that Jeff Hopkins benched Alani Janchevsky and Holly Furphy? The starters didn't quite work out. Ella O'Grady started for just the second time in 36 A-League games. So, she was given a shot, which is great because obviously she's been consigned to being a permanent super sub, it seems. But the two players that were benched come on and basically turn the game. Janchevsky sets up the own goal and then Furphy gets the winner.
Yeah, I think it's obviously really important there. Sometimes you don't know what works for an individual player, and sometimes you do need that challenge set to you of coming off the bench and having to prove that. So both players have obviously thrived there and got their shot and put their hand up to start again this weekend. I
mean, it's a results business, and Victory are just grinding away. They have all the makings of a team that'll squeak into 5th or 6th and then break someone's heart in the semi-finals and the elimination final. And whether it's Adelaide or Wellington, it's just going to be one of those teams that's never won it, and Victory, who know how to get it done, will be laying in wait.
Well, of course, they're playing City this weekend, rebounding from that upset of the season against the Wanderers to then go ahead and put 5 away against Brisbane. Is the City machine clicking how we're used to seeing it click, Teo, or are there bigger concerns for them still?
Well, gee, at 2-0 down, it looked like the City machine was about to stall. I mean, mean, they went from 4th to 1st on the ladder in the course of this afternoon alone. Annabel, did you entertain the idea that Brisbane were going to roll them when it was 2-0? I mean, the way they came back to get this game level by half-time, Brisbane clung on until the half-time break, and then City immediately take the lead. You see the clock at the start of the second half. So after that, it was more or less one-way traffic with Brisbane no chance of getting back in the game. But did you dare to believe that Melbourne City might be tumbling down the table when they were in that 2-0 hole?
Oh, absolutely. I think I had the other game on and was flicking between the two. But when I saw 2-0, I was definitely worried for City there. I thought, having just played Brisbane as well, I think they're a really, really good side. So it didn't shock me. But I think getting those goals back right before half-time, I think if you're going in at half-time 2-0, it's definitely a tougher to come out for City. But obviously getting those 2-1s back and coming out after half-time and putting it away.
So isn't 2-0 the most dangerous scoreline in football? Someone said that somewhere in history, I'm sure. Let's talk about City and Victory, though. An area that Victory might look to exploit when it comes to City is playing out from the back. Do you think that there's a vulnerability there?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something they'll look at after that. I know it's something last year we definitely looked at. I think Raz actually scored against them in a similar manner where we were able to press high up. I think it's maybe a bit of a different midfielder in here now. I think it used to be Hughes and Davidson, but obviously both of them out with knee injuries. Maybe the timing and the chemistry is a little bit off. And I think you really need it to be on if you're going to play that ball. So obviously that's having a bit of a factor for them.
It's almost like City have gone back to last year. It doesn't matter if we concede goals, and even if they're self-inflicted, we will outscore teams in the other direction, which was really the narrative of all season last year. They trailed 9 times, came back to avoid defeat in all of them in the home and away season. But I just think Melbourne Victory, we were trying to find in preparation for this chat an example of them pressing and forcing a mistake out of the opposition team. And we could only really find 2 sort of moments when they beat Adelaide at Amy Park, and also back in round 1 when Pollicina scores from outside the box after a giveaway. But they weren't really replicant of how Melbourne City are conceding. So, Annabel, in your experience against Melbourne Victory, do you actually think they are going to press City in a way that could force those sort of mistakes?
Yeah, that's surprising to hear, honestly. But I think you've got to look at it. If that's how they're conceding and that's how City is giving up goals, I think maybe you do try and do that. And then at the other end, like you said, they're happy to cop a few up as long as they can score them at the other way. So then it puts the pressure back on Victory's defence. But if I know anything, the derby is so big. When I was at Victory, I still remember winning my first one against City. It's going to have this game's going to have a lot of passion. I know they wouldn't be happy of losing the first derby of the year, so they're going to come out fighting. And
important for the fans to note, because it's at home of the Matildas, pre-buy your tickets and get there early, because it does fill up quickly, that venue. First one was at Amy Park as City's home game. This one's Victory's home game, so buy online, avoid disappointment, because this might be one of the more crowded and busy Melbourne derbies, given what's at stake.
Well, yes, get your tickets early, get in early, and watch out for Holly Mack taking on Kayla Morrison, one of the matchups that I am definitely looking forward to watching this weekend. Let's move on to the Wanderers and the Jets, because they meet on Friday. Both sides coming off losses, both sides trying to cling to the top 6 at the moment. The Wanderers, what do we make of their form? Because they had those couple of wins. I know it got snapped against Adelaide on the weekend, but they did knock off Melbourne City as well.
Yeah, I thought they were in some really good form, finding the back of the net, not conceding as much, which I think they had an issue with, of just coughing up so many goals. So they've definitely tightened up back there. So, yeah, they found a bit of confidence, and they were playing like it too. They were playing with confidence going forward. They were taking their shots, making their runs. So I'm not sure if, it's one game. I think they'll look to move on pretty quick, and a pretty unlucky goal there as well to concede.
The cumulative effect of losing players. Holly Casper's confirmed ACL out for the season. Kim So-Yun, season-ending injury. Chloe Lagazo was well injured and now retired. I mean, it has robbed them of versatility and options. And when they turned to the bench in this game, it was all academy players or NPL players that are, getting their first taste of A-League level football coming on. So their squad depth has been ripped away from them. And you're just not going to win many games with 35% possession and 62% pass accuracy. You're essentially giving the opposition the ball and hoping they have an off day. And Adelaide, to be fair, did have an off day and still found a way to beat them 1-0.
We look at history. Back in round 4, it was only a 1-0 win to Newcastle, and it was their best start to the season. So Wanderers, they're in with a shot, Teo.
These are the 2 leakiest defences in the league, though. So it may have been 1-0 last time, but that was down to a sham Karmas masterclass, I thought. And I just suspect this time around, both defences are starting to be weary I would suggest that whoever wins this game can at least get to the Asian Cup break holding on to some hope. But if there's a loser out of this match, it's going to be basically having to win out from here to get in. I think 33 points will just about guarantee you finals, but I would suspect something in the low 30s should be enough for top 6. That still feels a long way away for these two teams.
Well, it is when they're sitting on 16 and 15 on the ladder, Teo. Positions 9 and 10 at the moment, that one on Friday night. But if we look at the top of the ladder, 33 points, Teo says, is enough. Well, it's Melbourne City on 26, so they're almost there, aren't they? Followed by the Wellington Phoenix, who briefly held top spot for a couple of days over the weekend. Canberra United, Adelaide, Brisbane Roar and Melbourne Victory, all inside the 6. And then, as we see, Annabel, your Central Coast Mariners, a couple of points out. Is that going to change this weekend?
Which one's the most catchable, Annabel? Who you got your sights set on?
All of them. Hunting all of them that are above us, I think. I think we've seen this year, no one is unbeatable. Everyone's capable on any given day. So I'm excited to see how the season plays out and confident that we'll be in the top 6 come the end of the season.
Well, round 17 kicks off this Friday afternoon, 10 to 5 at Combank Stadium. The Wanderers hosting the Newcastle Jets. Brisbane Roar and Sydney FC round out your Friday night at Spencer Park in Brisbane. The Samco Football Centre will come alive as Perth host Canberra United on Saturday night at 8 p.m. The Phoenix and the Mariners going head-to-head, as you mentioned, over in Wellington. And Victory and City round out our weekend with the Melbourne Derby at the home of the Matildas. What are the headlines, Teo, out of that?
Perth are winless in 4. They're back at the Samco Football Centre. Canberra rolled them over there last season late in the home and away, and that was vital to Canberra making the top 6. So Perth, they have to win this one. But Canberra, by the same token, if they want to harbour any ambitions of playing at home in the finals, either by finishing in the top 2 or finishing 3rd and 4th for the elimination final, this is the sort of game they have to win. So genuine 6-pointer, and as the standalone game on Saturday, I think that one is going to be a really fascinating watch.
Besides your own, of course, match of the round, Annabel?
Got to be the Derby, yeah. Victorian kid, like I said. I think it's such a big game, not only for the passion of the sport, but also just in terms of the table. I think for Victory, it's a big game that they need to get the points off City.
Well, we are spoilt for choice right across round 17 and across the weekend. Teo Pellizzeri, Annabel Martin, thank you for your time on Dub Zone today. Look forward to hearing you and seeing you around the grounds across the weekend. And to everyone out there watching, thanks for your time on Dub Zone. I'm Amy Duggan. Every game on Paramount Plus this weekend. Enjoy.